All right, suppers, what's up? It's Dave and Chris again. We're here to talk about the Crisis on Infinite Earths that's starting up this week. Chris has been semi-following along. I've been watching every episode, and I thought I'd give him the deets on what he needs to prepare himself for, because in the past, he and I have done these crossovers going in blind, and we've missed series, and we don't know characters, and it's semi-confusing when you first started out. So this is me helping him out, and maybe I'll help you guys out. So once again, Dave and Chris from Suit Up, and let's hit it. Where to begin? So basically, you're gonna get 5 episodes. So this how the crisis is gonna work is it's gonna be across 5 episodes. But what you're gonna find out is it's not there's 6 TV shows going on right now. You've got Batwoman, Supergirl, Black Lightning, The Flash, and Arrow. Those are the 5 that are running in the fall, and then Legends of Tomorrow is coming back early next year. So you've got 6 episodes. How are you going to get to 5? Well, this is where it's going to get very tricky. There are no new Arrow episodes for the rest of the year.
What?
Yep. So it's going to do 3 episodes. You're going to get Supergirl on December 8th at 8 o'clock, Batwoman, okay? Then you're going to have like this special Black Lightning episode that's not officially called part of the crossover, but they're going to interject part of the crossover. So they're actually not considering the Black Lightning episode as part of it. Ridiculous. Then you're going to have The Flash on Tuesday. So you're going to have technically 4 episodes this week, 3 of which are dedicated solely to the crossover event. Then next year, January 12th, I think, 2020, you're going to get a new episode of Arrow, and then Legends of Tomorrow is going to finish off the crossover event. It's going to be wild.
The biggest hook I have for the crossover event is obviously Kevin Conroy. Watching him in a live action, playing as Bruce Wayne, Batman, man, it's going to be pure waterworks for me. We got to meet Kevin Conroy at Wizard World in Philadelphia like a couple months ago. That was like one of the most epic moments of my life.
And at no point was he even signed on for the crisis at that point. So I think, building up to this, you're going to hear a lot of Birds of Prey are involved. Smallville characters are involved. Burt Ward, you're going to see like so many crazy crossovers from prior DC content is going to be in here. The 2 particular I think you're going to be excited about is, I believe Batwoman is the episode where they're going to bring in Kevin Conroy's Batman.
Yeah.
So you get it soon. You get it Monday. So I think you should be happy for that.
Monday, got it.
I think you got the Monday. So you got it. So Supergirl. Supergirl is probably the one episode, probably the TV show that's going to has the most things going on in the background that I'm always confused on, because she seems to have like 14 sidekicks.
What's your overall thoughts on Lex Luthor?
Okay, so Lex is going to be in this.
Okay.
All right. So the character he's played by John Cryer.
Mm-hmm.
He is just as maniacal as ever, and he is convinced he's not the bad guy. So I think you're going to be happy with his portrayal of Lex Luthor.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I saw my wife watches Supergirl. I don't watch it. Just going back a little bit. So I loved Arrow and I love Flash. I was a big fan of those shows. I lost track after the last year when it kind of just became repetitive and the show quality just kind of dipped. So I have not seen any of these episodes this season so far, but I'm going to just jump right in and who the fuck knows what's going to happen. It's going to be fun.
All right. Well, I got to go through some spoilers then, because there are characters.
Go ahead.
It's just going to be super confusing. So we'll start with the easy show, Arrow. All right. So you're familiar with the main 4.
Oh, yeah.
Guess who's not going to be in this? No Felicity.
What? Where'd she go?
She was done. She decided she was done with Arrow. She has not been in any of these episodes. It is very weird because they allude to it a bunch of times. Yeah. So at the end of last season, Oliver and Felicity had a baby named Mia. Well, total mindfuck. They flash forward to her in the future, Mia. And so now there's like a whole thing. This happened at the end of last year, and you kind of understand that that's the future. Well, thanks to the Monitor. Now, the Monitor is similar to the comics. He's kind of manipulating everybody to go against his anti-version of himself. There's John Diggle's stepson. Okay. There's Mia, and then there's James, right? Is that the son? Sean? Can't remember. The three of them from the future were then sent back in time to fight alongside Oliver and present day John Diggle and present day Renee and present day Dinah. I mean, it's ridiculous. So you're gonna like, you'd be really confused if you started seeing like a fake Canary and you're like, man, that blonde girl looks like she should be Sarah Lance or something like that. No, it's actually Mia from the future who got sent back in time.
I did watch the first few episodes of Arrow because I remember watching that and being super confused as to like what is going on.
Yeah.
But I do remember that. So yes.
Another key thing to note is this is from Supergirl's side. So Supergirl is she has a sister, obviously a stepsister. The stepsister is the leader of like a secret government agency.
Okay.
Her best friends are Marvin the Martian, Martian Manhunter.
Uh-huh.
Brainiac from the future,
which I don't get. What's that about?
So, good question. In comics, I believe they're from the year like 3000. There is a future version of like the Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay.
And Brainiac 5, I think, is the number that they were up to. We're going to get blasted on the YouTube, but he was never bad. He was actually the AI that stayed good, and he's got like 25% human in him or something like that, and he's like 75% machine. Okay. Well, as part of that, he, in a previous season, again, didn't watch it either, must have came back. They kept him, and he's, super intelligent. It's that version of the comic, so it's not the Brainiac that's bad, and I don't really think they're ever going to turn it into a situation where maybe Brainiac turns to the evil Brainiac that we're familiar with, but he's colloquially called Brainy. They just try to make him feel good.
Every time I look at, my wife is watching Supergirl, I just feel bad for Martian Manhunter because he's like the one superhero who always gets the shaft. You look at the DCEU, you look at the DC universe, the animated movies, and you look like he deserves his opportunity. He's getting the shaft. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's a founding member of the Justice League, but don't worry about it. He's not needed. He does have a pretty big part to play in this because he had a brother, another Martian, obviously not a human, who's played by famous voice actor Phil Lamar. It's great. The two of them are really good on screen together. So I don't think you're going to see him getting so much of the shaft, and he's really been in his own. The good news is I don't think you're going to see James Olsen. Totally most ridiculous character.
Really?
Jimmy Olsen from Superman. He's portrayed here as like a 6'4" behemoth. I mean, he is just cock diesel. So we're not going to see that. He's been off this season for a couple episodes, but he does have a sister. She might pop up in the episode. So, and then the only other thing from Supergirl to be on the lookout for is obviously Superman. So Superman, that's where you're going to get Superman.
I'm excited to see Tom Welling. So I just started, for whatever reason, I didn't watch the Superman show back from the CW from the 90s, and I'm like in like middle of season 4 right now. So I know Tom Welling's going to be in it, right?
He will be. I don't know if he's going to be as part of the Legends of Tomorrow, which will be next year.
Okay.
Because Brandon Routh is going to be playing a version of Superman from Superman Kingdom. So it could be one of those things. Last year's crossover, they had the somebody say, they had the intro music from Smallville on Supergirl. So, he could show up at any point. And I think we're going to be, it seems like a pretty good fan service because he was on Lucifer and I remember how amazing he was. And I was like, it's going to be good. Cool. He's going to be back. Batwoman, what can I say about that? New season.
Is that any good?
It's great. It really is.
Okay.
I think you're going to see, what'll be tricky is the character who plays one of the main villains in Batwoman. She was on the show Birds of Prey.
Okay. Back.
years ago in like early 2000s.
Yep.
Well, the Birds of Prey are going to be in this crossover, so it's going to be very fun to see her doppelganger and
Right.
just how that plays out. I think they're gonna toy with it, but I think it's going to look pretty good. Not much to say. The Supergirl and Batwoman have not really been focused, and neither is Black Lightning, have been really focusing on the crisis at all. It's really been heavy on the Flash and Arrow. So I just didn't want you to go in cold and be like, "Who's that guy?" Lucius Fox's son is in Batwoman.
Really?
Yeah. So he's Luke Fox. And spoiler, Lucius Fox isn't alive.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Batman does exist in Batgirl, right?
And Batwoman, yeah, she does. He
Batwoman.
does. And that's why I think Kevin Conroy is very possibly that Batman.
Interesting.
Because in this world, Batman left. He is old.
So maybe we'll have Nightwing, or maybe we'll have like
Terry
Batman
McGinnis.
Beyond?
We're not going to have Terry McGinnis. No. I don't know. There's been no mentions of Robins or anything in this show. It's only ever been Batman. There's obviously been mention of Joker. No mention of Two-Face. No mention. There hasn't been a mention of Killer Croc though, so that's kind of fun. So there's some callbacks in the show that are nice. You really get to see this post-apocalyptic, like what happens when Batman isn't around. And really, the first 5 episodes have been Kate Kane walking into stepping into the role. Black Lightning, I think they're just going to do like a standalone episode, and then like 5 minutes left, they're going to steal Black Lightning away and put him in the universe. It's bad. They did this a couple years ago with Supergirl, where I don't know if you did this, but I watched an entire episode of Supergirl, and then in the 30-second, like in the last, like the closer, that's when the Flash came in and was like, "Hey, we need your help," and they called it as part of the 3-night crossover event. And when you didn't need to see Supergirl. Sadly, I think Black Lightning is going to be in that vein, but it's okay. He's got some crazy cool powers. If you remember Static Shock from the 2000s, that's basically the same powers that Black Lightning has.
I saw the first season of Black Lightning. It was really good. Watching TV shows is hard, man. I don't have enough time to keep up with all this stuff, but I enjoyed it. It's not like I didn't like it. So
the Flash. So Flash and Arrow, they're the ones that have been focusing on this. Basically, the Arrow this entire season has been building and working and trying to get a weapon for the Monitor to stop everything. There's a lot of backstabbing and things like that. An entire world disappeared. The real Monitor to fight the Anti-Monitor.
Oh, the okay.
So Anti-Monitor is the bad guy.
Gotcha. All right. So you like a monitor from another universe?
Yeah, I don't really know the mythos. He's what I believe is the Anti-Monitor is the one that's trying to bring and merge all the Earths together.
And then end the world or something.
And which would theoretically end many, many universes. One of the things that's very shocking is in the 2nd episode of Arrow this year, they wiped out an entire universe. Earth 2.
Yeah, I remember
Earth 2 just got completely wiped out.
Yep.
Huge repercussions, and that kind of put Oliver down a path of he can't trust the Monitor and all this other stuff. Well, spoiler, he can. It's one of those things where he has to like work through the only way Oliver can, which is he has to be taught and has to learn the hard way that the Monitor's the good guy. On the Flash, though, it's a little bit different. This is where the Flash is running up against his fate. I don't know if you remember, like one of the first episodes of the Flash, we see a shocking reveal that the Flash disappears.
Right.
And that was part of the Crisis event. And so he's always known that eventually he's not going to be there. And so this entire season has been about him trying to go up against it and then leave a legacy for his team. So Cisco will be like the new team leader, even though he doesn't have any powers anymore. You have the Elongated Man has now been given like the key to the city to save the city. And like he's now the hero. So it's been really tough of how he's been handling that. And I think what we're going to find out going into this crossover is that clearly Barry Allen is not going to be killed. But,
well, I mean, that's the big question here is like, this is such a huge crossover. Is this like the swan song for like Arrow or for the Flash? Like, where's this? is the meaning of it bigger?
Yeah.
You know, is this that marking the end of Ollie, or is this marking the end of Barry Allen? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's known that this is the last season of Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver Queen will no longer be played by Stephen Amell. That'll be the end of it. But there's been some rumors, whether they're right or wrong, that they're trying to have another show called Green Arrow and the Sirens.
Cool.
Which may be more of like the future.
Okay.
Possibly. So maybe really stick with Mia's character and stuff like that. The Flash has never been talked about as like not coming back. So like I think you're gonna find, and there's been like 75 speedsters on that show. So
I think the no-brainer here is for Ollie to lose his arm in the Crisis, and then have Ollie come back during other future Crisis events. I'd like the one-armed Green Arrow. That'd be so badass.
That would be, but the problem is the last episode of Arrow, Rory lost an arm. Spoiler. It was pretty ridiculous. Yeah, so they're flying in, and the plane kind of crashes in Lian-Yu, and then the only way to basically like save Rory is to cut off his arm. And as you know, the Green Arrow in the future will eventually only have one arm. So I think they're kind of playing it out that Roy Harper is going to be the new Arrow, which is fine. I like Roy. I think he's a fun character. He's dealing with his own personal demons.
Yep, I'm cool with that.
Big question is, no, we're probably never going to see John Diggle as the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen.
That was always it, man. I remember watching season after season after season. Like, could he be the Green Lantern, or John Stewart? I think.
Yeah, but we find out his middle name is Stewart. Like all these stupid things. His Spartan gear has like green like face lights on, and you're like, well, when's he going to be the Green Lantern? And just never.
Trolling. They're all trolls.
Yeah, the other kind of, and I'll leave you on this. There's some more exciting characters that are going to be added over the next couple of events. Stargirl. She's from, I can't remember if she's from the past or the future, but she's got part of the Justice League of America. The JLA was a Stargirl type character. So think of the JLA as like the past Justice League.
Okay.
So she's going to make an appearance. I don't know if she's going to be in the Legends of Tomorrow. I don't know if she's going to just sneak her way into a flashback or something like that. It lends itself more Legends of Tomorrow because that's my favorite one of these, and it's the most ridiculous one of all these shows. Newton of the played by an Asian guy. I don't know his name. So that'll be fun. So Brandon Routh is another one of the folks that are going to leave their show. Brandon Routh has been in Legends of Tomorrow since the beginning. He was on The Flash before. So we're going to see. So talk about swan songs. This is definitely the event that's going to quote my favorite Kylo Ren quote. You got to let the past die. You got to kill it if you have to. That way, it's the only way to become what you're meant to be. And I think this is where we're at.
What are your thoughts on the new Superman? Like, I really love Brandon Routh. He's a great homage to Reeves' Superman. I love Tom Welling. He was kind of his own Superman. I have not watched Supergirl that closely, but from an outsider's perspective, I've not been able to buy in. Like, what's your overall thought?
You'll be happy with his portrayal. He's not as brooding as Henry Cavill. He is very much closer tied to the Brandon Rouths. I think he's usually pretty good with the types of characters he plays. Tyler Hinnock or something like that is the actor. He's really good. Speaking of Smallville, though, there's going to be a lot of callbacks for Erica Durance.
Wow.
So Erica Durance played Lois Lane in Smallville. She's going to play that character.
Cool.
And she's going to play the character she was on in Small Girl. It's going to be a mindfuck. It's going to be great. You're going to be so confused.
It's probably going to be one of those things where they only have like 30 seconds of screen time. Like, they literally only have one line. I'm like, no, that's it.
Yeah, Burt Ward's going to be like pushing a stroller or something. Like, that's going to be Burt Ward. And they're like, oh, that's Robin from the 60s. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be
Yeah.
confused, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think everybody should. And like I said, it's going to be broken up. So you're going to get about 4 episodes this week, midweek of December. Set your DVRs. You want to get Supergirl, Batwoman, Black Lightning, Arrow, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow. And you're going to be like, well, I can't find Legends of Tomorrow. You're going to have to go to January 2020. So we're going to keep setting reminders on Twitter. We're going to keep set your DVRs because we would hate for you to miss the finale of the crisis, which is on Legends of Tomorrow.
All righty. Sounds great.
All right. Later, guys.
Stay awesome.